What's up, everybody? This is the first ever episode of the Hoops Post Up. Welcome to our YouTube video channel. Before you even think about watching the rest of this video, just subscribe now because you're going to want to. Because,
Subscribe.
yeah, I mean, you're going to want to see everything we have coming the whole rest of the NBA season and off season. We're never going to stop. I'm Pierre Camus. With me is my lovely, talented, beautiful wife, Velma Camus.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to our channel.
All right, so we're here to talk NBA, as you can already tell, and we're lifelong NBA fans. I have to say she's a longer fan than I am. That's because she's older.
Die-hard Spurs fan.
Diehard Spurs fan. I'm a diehard Miami Heat fan, and as you can see, we've got some
Coyote representing right here.
yeah, I got some things here. With our teams have been pretty successful the last couple decades. Maybe not so much last year, but that's okay. But we get along, right? We still get along, even though
Oh, you
the
should
Heat
have
Spurs
seen us. That championship. What was it?
oh
20, what?
13, 14, 15.
Oh, it was bad. We had to watch in separate rooms. It wasn't good.
But it actually turned out great because each team got a championship, and so there's nothing to argue about,
One
right?
was more painful than the other.
Yeah, well, we're going to skip all that. We're not here to talk about the past. We're here to talk about the present and the upcoming season. Actually, I lied. We're going to talk about the past first. Okay, so our first episode, we're actually going to go back and look over Bleacher Report's top 50 players of all time and give our take on this list because we've had quite a bit of experience watching some of these players in person. We're going to start out where the article started out. We're going to talk about the players who didn't make the list because, of course, you can't just talk about who did. You have to talk about the snubs, right? That's what everybody loves. All-star games, top 50, top 100, any list. You have to talk about who didn't make it so they have something to argue about. Right?
So surprised by some of these that were left off the list. Completely shocked by, ah, I don't know. For me, Allen Iverson. I couldn't believe he was left off the list.
Well, okay, let's start with Iverson. I'm glad you mentioned that because nobody's been debated more out of all the reaction to this list than Allen Iverson because, I mean, for his time, again, you have to, you can compare stats all you want, but realistically, the players from back in the day, the stats aren't going to compare to James Harden and some of the players from this era where they're jacking up 50 shots a night, okay? But for his time, you have to remember when Iverson played, it was an era of defense first, right? This is not today's NBA where everyone's shooting threes.
Everyone's shooting threes. Point guards are shooting instead of running the offense and trying to find their man out there. Yes, Allen Iverson.
This was a time when point guards were supposed to pass and run the offense, and scoring was like, yeah, if you're open. Would you agree that guys like Russell Westbrook and Chris Paul, to some extent, these score first point guards, Iverson pretty much paved the way for them, right? He's the one who showed them, yeah, point guard can be also the lead
More
scorer.
than exactly. He could be the lead scorer. He could actually dominate the offense in many ways. So, yeah, I was surprised that he didn't make the list.
Yeah. Now, obviously, he didn't win a championship, but led his team to the finals. This was an era where, again, he wasn't expected to win. He was almost a one man team. I'm not gonna rip on anybody else who was his teammate at that time, but basically he was the offense, right? So, anyways, kind of surprising to see him off the list. To me, the biggest snub though, it's got to be
Oh,
the human highlight film. You have a nickname like that, you're not on the top 50. Dominique Wilkins, please explain why. How could he be left off? He was
oh
obviously a
my
Hall
God.
of Famer. I know there's some Hall of Famers who weren't there, but besides Hall of Famer, nine-time All-Star, 25 points a game, and even if you say, okay, as I mentioned, the stats aren't everything. His impact on the game, he was the human highlight reel for a reason. The epic dunk contest with Michael Jordan. I mean, don't you think Dominique has to be in there?
No, seriously. His dunks, his aggressiveness on the court. I mean, I was so surprised that he wasn't on. And he was a Spur for a short
For very yeah, that's not the part people are going to remember about his career. But yeah, the team again. Maybe he's not getting as much love because his team never went to the finals, didn't win a championship. But to me,
Oh,
I
he
hate
was
that argument.
dominant. No, he was dominant.
He was dominant in his time, so very shocking there. Who else are you surprised about?
Um, I know we had this conversation back and forth, and you were talking about Kevin Johnson.
Hmm.
Because we were talking about how Steve Nash was there, and yet his numbers, Kevin Johnson's numbers, were absolutely, I mean, they were better. They were better than Steve Nash. So I don't know. I don't know why he didn't make the list. Is it
That's
because he wasn't as popular as Steve Nash? I mean, I don't know. It was supposed to be notable, right? Who are going to be the ones who deserve to be on the list? And Kevin Johnson, surprised.
I, to me, and again, looking at the numbers, Kevin Johnson averaged for his career 4 more points a game. You realize he was a pretty prolific scorer, again, at a time where point guards weren't expected to score. Nash came in an era later on where it was more acceptable. He played on a team that was all offense, right? Playing Nelly ball, all offense, no defense, basically. So
Nelly
yeah,
ball, Nelly.
yeah, Nelly, and Johnson averaged more assists. The same across the board. Johnson's numbers are comparable, and
It's true. It's true. I'm completely shocked.
same franchise, same market. It's not like Steve Nash has a bunch of championships in his repertoire. I don't
Oh,
understand.
that's unfortunate. I know. Because Steve Nash, I love him. He's a great guy.
Oh,
I
I
think
mean
he was a
nothing against
talented
Nash.
player. Right. But surprised that Kevin Johnson
Kevin Johnson should
was
get more love.
left
I think
off
is it
the
because he's
list.
Canadian? Is that what it is? Are we trying to give
I
some
hope
Canadian love to
not.
Nash?
I hope not.
I think there's some bias here. I don't know. I think
Okay.
there's a conspiracy. Speaking of Canada, I know you actually. I'm kind of on the fence here, but
Oh, come on, Vince Carter. Are
you
you talking about my
you,
Vince Carter?
that's the name. One of the names you pointed out quickly is Vince. Like he's got to be on there. So
He's legendary. The man is still playing ball.
He's that's true. His legacy is
Come
not
on.
ended. We don't even know his career stats. He's still playing.
Oh, he's
What's your case? Tell me why Vince should be on there.
Oh, come on. He is a leader on the court. He is aggressive. He puts 110% every time he's on the court. I don't know.
I don't
For
think
me,
that's one of the
I
categories.
know
It's
it's not
effort.
a category. I know it's not. I know it's not. But when you think of his numbers, when you think about how many shots he puts up, and as actually, I don't know his percentages. Like he would know. He's a stat guy.
He's not. It's not even about the percentages. He's not like a high percentage shooter. But I guess I think about again the impact on the game. We were talking about Dominique, right? The dunk contest. I know that shouldn't be a standard, right? We're not going to put like Zach LaVine in the top 50 players ever. But
Vince's
that was the
dunk
best.
all time.
We
Like,
still watch
we
that, right?
every year dunk contest comes on and we're thinking, wow, you're just
You're like,
copying. You're trying to
There's no
copy
Vince.
Vince.
Right. Like whoever you are, you're no Vince. Yeah.
Yes.
But Vince Carter, the face of the Raptors, who now getting national love because they finally won a championship. But Vince, I'm sorry, he's got to be on there. And then go ahead and stump for your man.
Oh, my Tony TP number 9 all time. Oh my gosh, 4 championships. Come on, why isn't he there? Manu's there. David Robinson, Tim Duncan is there.
Steve Kerr
Big
has more rings
three.
than he does.
Big 3. Oh, Steve Kerr. Yeah, he was on my team for a little while.
So I'm just saying championships aren't everything. Okay, so but he was a major part of those championships, and wasn't he Finals MVP once?
He was Finals MVP, and when you look at numbers, if you're looking at numbers and you're on this list, he's very comparable to Jason Kidd. And I'm sorry, I think he's better.
True shooting percentage. Again, this is one of those advanced stats, not just field goal percentage, but his true shooting percentage is 54.6%. Jason Kidd, 50.7%. Obviously, he's not Mr. Triple Double. Jason Kidd definitely outdoes him in terms of rebounds, got more assists.
But think about what he did for his team. Think about all the people that he got involved with his play, and those quick trips to the basket. He's so fast.
Yeah, he almost don't say patented, but he's got that little Tony, runner, the running layup.
Running flip.
Yeah. So again, this is one of those things you argue. You want to talk about stats versus effect, like rings, and effect on your team, being part of a dynasty. That's got to count for something. I think I could fit Tony in maybe
number 50.
50, maybe
Why
number
not?
50.
When we take a look to see who's on there, I'm going to tell you who needs to be off that
Well,
list.
we're going to do that. We'll talk about who maybe shouldn't be on the top 50 list. But before we get into it, one last one. How is Chris Mullin?
That's
the
old
original
school. For me,
Dream
it's
Team
old
members.
school.
It is old school, but again, Chris Mullin, one of the original Dream Team members. I had his cup, the McDonald's cups. You remember they had the Dream Team cups with the big old soda. They have a cup for everything. I also
Right.
had those Return of the Jedi cups, but I digress. had the Chris Mullin Cup. I mean, come on. He's on the original Dream Team. 54% for his career.
What an amazing
effective field
talent.
goal
Like,
percentage.
seriously, Chris Mullin.
He could shoot the three. He was one of those first kind of D and 3 players, except his offense was so much elevated. He couldn't just shoot the three. He was kind of one of those multifaceted inside-out players, but I don't know. I don't see how Mullen is not on this list. It's a crime. All right, we're good. Are you ready to start the list?
Yeah, let's go to the list, and we're going to talk about, I don't know, some of the people I was surprised by.
Okay. Number 50, and I just have to mention because, I mean, he's got to be on here, but Rick Barry from the
Barry
U.
family.
All right. I just wanted to throw that. There's actually a UM basketball player on the list. That's all I have to say.
I know.
That's it. Toward the top of the list, this is surprising. Do you think Pau Gasol belongs on this list?
Oh, and I have so much love for Pau. He was on my Spurs team as well.
Number 46.
46. I don't know. I know he played a major part when he was on the Lakers, right?
Mm-hmm.
When he was on the Lakers.
I think a lot of the love he's getting is because he was on those championship teams with the Lakers, right, with Kobe. Again, I feel like he's getting a little too much credit because of the rings. If you look at his career stats, you've got plenty of guys who could make a better case. Do you think that being on a winning team should matter that much when you have a lot of guys who could make that same claim? I mean, he didn't even average 20 points a game for his career, so
well, and I was wondering, I was wondering, like, it was a small amount of time that he was on
right.
those teams where they got...
He's not a career Laker. I mean, he's bounced back and forth.
So, I don't know. For me, I don't know. I know he averaged, 20 points per game, something like that.
Not even. That's the thing. It was close, the 18-something. But here's the thing. Only 2 championships. To me, okay, did Kobe win before Pau got there? Did Kobe win after Pau got there? Was Pau, like, the major factor in those championships? I don't think so. And so, to me, I don't know. I think a lot of this, now there were some cases where they had players in here because of their international appeal. And we'll talk about, like, Ginobili, right? I know you think Ginobili belongs, and I'm not saying he does. He definitely does.
He definitely belongs.
Is that enough? Because we're talking about NBA all time. The fact that he's an international player, one of the first kind of stars that came from overseas, do you think that matters enough?
Well, I mean, if you're going off of top 50 NBA, then to me, you're going off of their playing time in the NBA, not outside influences.
Yeah, I mean, because by that argument, Yao Ming should be like top 10 because he brought China, which, let's not go into China.
No, let's not go into that.
What about Ray Allen, number 44?
Ray Allen.
You knew I was going to bring Ray Allen for a reason.
No, let's not look. No.
Okay, but seriously, actually, some argument, of course.
Talented player, absolutely. Love his shooting. Love his, just work ethic.
Okay, but to me, Ray Allen, don't you think he should be higher than 44? I think that, I mean, the fact that he's one of the most prolific three-point shooters ever, he helped 2 different teams win a championship.
Right.
Doesn't that say something?
It's true. I was shocked that he was at 44.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think he should be higher up.
Okay.
In the list.
This might be a little painful, too. We're just going to get these out of the way. Sorry. We're just getting all the painful ones out of the way. This one very much up for debate. We'll change.
Oh, my
Probably
God.
will slide
No,
up.
I don't want to talk about that one.
Nope, sorry.
I don't want to talk about that number 2.
Let's talk about Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard did win a championship with the Spurs, and of course has one now without the Spurs. And who knows this year? We'll see what the battle for LA winds up being. But Kawhi Leonard at 42, do you think it's fair to put him already in the top 50?
I don't know. It's hard to say for me, and I'm just going to have a biased opinion.
That's okay. This in the NBA, everything's biased.
This is our channel,
This is our channel.
right?
We can do whatever we want.
We can do whatever we want. For me, I don't know. Yes, like he was developed. He was developed in the Spurs system. He's the one. Our Spurs system, actually, were the ones who developed.
I know, you're part of the system. So.
Developed him to be the player that he was. We traded him for George Hill. Oh, and that was painful for me.
I know. She has a
Thrill
George Hill
Hill.
jersey.
Woo!
Actually, I'm surprised she doesn't wear
him.
it. No kidding. She has a George Hill. She doesn't have a Tim Duncan jersey. She has
No,
a George
I
Hill
have
jersey.
a George Hill jersey, actually.
No lie. Anyways.
Going back to Kawhi.
So Kawhi, here's the thing. Okay, he's got 2 championships. He's been Finals MVP
But he's
both
done
times.
so much at a young age. I
Right.
think that's probably why they saw his impact on the game and they put him at 42 because he has made such a huge impact for being only in the league.
That's
for-
just a few years.
Yeah, just a few
And
years.
his playoff box plus minus all time is fifth already. His box plus minus in the playoffs. And who knows what's going to happen after this year. So where do you think, just make a prediction, not where you want him to be, where do you think he winds up by the time his career is said and done?
Wow.
I mean, top 10
I
all
would
time?
definitely top 10 for sure.
For sure?
Yes,
Do you think he gets another ring? In LA or wherever he winds up forcing his way to?
Unfortunately, I do think he gets another ring. Yes. Yes.
All right, we'll see.
Yes.
I know we mentioned Jason Kidd already, and let's talk about these new era point guards like Russell Westbrook. Westbrook, the middle of his career, arguably maybe at the prime. I guess you could say maybe when he won MVP, that was his peak, his
Yes,
prime. I don't think
yeah.
he'll do that again, although he's still averaging a triple
I
double.
don't know. He's still pretty
So, but who knows what'll happen now? But
impressive.
talk about Westbrook at 36 overall, and then Kidd at 33. The power of the triple double, because it's one of those glamour stats that, if you wind up with 8 rebounds or 11 rebounds,
Wasn't
how
that like
big of an impact does that have?
Wasn't that his goal for a while? Like that's
Well,
like
yeah.
I mean, and that's probably people argue maybe that's why his team hadn't gone any further than they did because he was more focused on his numbers as opposed to team numbers. So, I don't know.
So the question is, how important is the individual stat like that versus the fact, well, Westbrook has no rings. Kidd didn't ever, get to it. Well, he got to the finals.
He got to the
against the
finals
Spurs.
against the Spurs. Yeah.
Didn't win. We went to one of those games actually. in
We
person.
did. We
went
were
to
there.
I think we went
We
to
were
like the
actually
one
there.
game that the New Jersey Nets won. I think that's the game we went to.
Oh my gosh.
But anyways, do you think that those players maybe get a little too much credit for the individual stats versus a guy like Tony Parker, which we already talked about?
Right.
I mean, do you think that that's about right, being in the 30s, especially a guy like Westbrook who?
Yeah, I don't know. It's something to be, I don't know. Y'all can let us know. What are your thoughts? Comments below. Let's create some dialogue there. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is the argument. You talk about stats versus rings versus cultural impact. You can look at it a lot of different ways. So I think to me personally, a guy like Jason Kidd is a little too high when you talk about some of the other players who are below him, like Ray Allen, bigger impact. But anyways, another point guard here, Chris Paul is 28.
Chris Paul. Wow.
Now, great player, considered by all advanced metrics, probably the best point guard of his era. But he's above a guy like John Stockton, who was regarded as the best point guard of his era. Now, of course, Stockton and the Jazz made it to the finals, but they, of course, had to face some guy named Michael Jordan.
Right.
Didn't ever get over the hump in that term. But Stockton, all-time leader in assists. How do you feel? Chris Paul versus John Stockton, where do you fall on that?
Oh gosh, it's tough for me. I mean, I know there's a lot of people who love Chris Paul and appreciate his game. I don't want to say this because
Oh, say it.
I'm not a Chris Paul fan. I mean, I don't know. I see more conflict than productivity. I don't know, but maybe that's just as of recent. Maybe he's just a little bitter and frustrated.
He
I
seemed
don't
a little
know.
bitter, didn't he? A little bitter.
A little bit.
So you think, because a lot of people think Harden kind of chased him out of Houston because he wanted all the glory. You think that Chris
I don't
Paul's
know.
equally to
Didn't
blame?
he have issues at the Clippers? And didn't he have? I mean, there always seems to be something following and surrounding Chris Paul.
So
I
we'll
don't
see, and who knows what will happen with Paul. You think he's going to stay put in Oklahoma City? I doubt it.
No.
He kind of forced his way to Houston, now forced his way kind of out, and now he's going to try to force his way somewhere else, but we'll see.
Oh, what?
Well,
Doesn't he want to go to the Heat?
huh,
How would you feel about that?
that's fun. Hey, come on over. We could use you. I love the Dragon, but I would take a future Hall of Famer for sure. But yeah, that's not going to happen. Sorry, Chris Paul. We have absolutely nothing to trade for you. So I don't think that the OKC Thunder would be happy with a trade there. Anyways, so Chris Paul again, one of these guys gets a lot of love because of those advanced metrics. Fourth place all time in win share percentage, and he's got a plus 7.3 box plus minus, which a lot of casual NBA fans have no idea what the hell
I
that
was
means.
gonna say, tell me what that box plus minus, because I know my Sean Elliott talks about that when he's on. Tell me about that.
Well, okay, so you've heard of plus minus, right? That like it's a hockey term, really. You talk about how much the team does in the scoring category when you're on the court as opposed to not. So box plus minus is a little different without getting into all the details. It's not just strict plus minus, as far as the team doing better or not scoring wise. It takes into account your overall effect in terms of assists and rebounds and
Don't they
points.
say it can kind of skew somebody's like perception on the court, like their actual, like what they're actually doing on the court versus their numbers? Because I've watched some games and I've seen some players be pretty impactful in the game, and I've seen, how they've scored quite a bit, and yet their plus what minus
Plus minus.
box plus minus doesn't seem to quite match that. Like how, I don't know.
And that's why it's debatable because it doesn't always jive. You know what I mean? The eye test, and then again, some people go with the eye test and they say, well, look at his impact. You love, announcers love to use this term and say, oh, it doesn't show up in the box score, right? Those guys who you play
Yeah.
really hard defense and
Right.
whatever. And that's what this is supposed to account for, the things that don't show up, besides the scoreboard. It's very debatable, how important that is. So if you're a stat guy versus an eye test guy, or
Right.
you're a girl, so. But where do you find you're more about the eye test, right?
I'm more about the eye test.
Okay.
And how things look.
Yeah, I'm a fantasy geek, so I'm about the stats. Getting to the top 20 now.
Wow, Kevin Garnett.
Number 16.
Wow.
That reaction tells me you're thinking it's a little too high.
I think it's a little too high. For me, Kevin Garnett, I would put him probably 28.
Mm-hmm. Fine, kind of down there, like the Chris Paul range.
Yes.
Not Chris Paul. Okay, so why is he, the praying mantis, getting so much
Oh,
love
praying
here?
mantis, for sure.
I don't consider him a top 20 all-time player, and I'm thinking there's a little bit of Boston bias here, right? Because he helped the Celtics get back to where they had. I mean,
Right.
Paul Pierce, I get, right? I get his overall game, and he's the lifelong Celtic, and I get his impact as a great shooter. Garnett was a great player for a long time, but
Yes.
he wasn't dominant like a guy like Hakeem, or he's not a guy that I consider to be top 30. So why so high? Do you think that's what it is? Just the Boston thing?
I'm pretty sure it's just the Boston. I
It's
don't
the
know.
Boston.
That's what they want. They want Boston.
Kobe Bryant not in the top 10. To me, that was just as shocking.
That was a shocker to me, for sure. Like when we think about basketball Hall of Famers, All Stars, who belongs up at the top and who has dominated the game for so long, right? He did for so long, and he made watching basketball exciting. Like it
Thank
was
you.
just yeah.
And again, not a Laker fan here. Not even remotely.
No.
Like, this is a Laker hater, a Spurs fan, remember.
Oh, I love Laker people. I just am not a fan.
Okay, so not a hater. You're not a hater. I'm going to say she loves everyone. But, yeah, it's amazing. He checks all the boxes. Championships, yes, 5 of them, okay? And he didn't have somebody else to lean on all the time. He switched back and forth between having Shaq, having Gasol. He's able to do a lot of this as the lead dog. 18-time All-Star, okay? 18 times. His whole career, basically. It was a long, prolific career. He was the dominant player for his team, his franchise, historic franchise. I don't get it.
Yeah,
What?
I seriously, I was shocked to see that he was not in the top 10.
Yeah, so that's kind of ridiculous. I don't understand why.
Well,
I'm
you have
actually
to.
thinking that David Robinson should also be in the top 10. Number 12 on the list here. He always, I feel like he didn't get enough credit during his career, and that includes from Spurs fans.
5-0. I didn't give you enough credit when you were on the
Didn't
court.
appreciate what you had.
No, I
Second
didn't.
all time, and your favorite stats
What was
here.
that? Like you don't know what you have until it's gone? Like seriously. I watch back and I'm thinking, what was I thinking? I was young then.
Yeah,
Well, not
there
so
you
young,
go.
but anyway.
Younger.
Younger.
Second all time ever in win share and fourth in career
His
box
numbers
plus minus.
are amazing.
This is a guy who didn't have a lot of support. Is the best player he ever played with until the end of his career was
Gosh.
Sean Elliott, who's a good,
Aw.
decent, like fringe all-star player. But that's it. And then it was Vinny Del Negro and who else?
Oh my gosh, we had
Avery Johnson.
Avery Johnson, Vinny Del Negro. We had a lot of, good, strong role players, but he was the only one who was dominating on the court for so long. Heart and soul was there. His numbers were amazing, like seriously.
And talk
I
about
think a
triple
lot of
doubles.
it had to do. No, I'm visual, right? We talk about like the eye, his arms.
Oh yeah, he's still pretty cut. I don't know how old he is. He's 50 yet. He's got to be, but he's the man.
Sorry.
So talk about triple doubles. He's one of those guys who could pull a triple double with block shots, and he had that one game where he had 60 points.
Gosh, it was amazing. He had like 63 points. I don't know exactly what it was, but
Just
so much fun to watch.
able to dominate, and because of him, basically, that's why the Spurs were a playoff team before Popovich, Duncan, that whole crew came in, and then that just put him over the top. So Duncan, speaking of, comes in at number 7, 5 places higher than Robinson. Do you think he should be higher than Dave just because of the rings and the effect he had, the dynasty?
Yeah, I can't disagree with that.
Yeah.
He is the best all time.
Arguably, a lot of people everything's arguable. The best power forward of all time.
Of all time. And to be able to sustain that for so long, he did. He was dominant for a decade.
And what we have to remember is this isn't just a guy who had numbers because he was such an unselfish player, but one of the best defenders in the game, right? His defensive rating so high. Same thing with David Robinson, right? Now, Dave was a shot blocker. Duncan, decent shot blocker for his position, but Duncan was just all around, right? His effect. So yeah, there you go. Number 7.
Coach Duncan.
Coach Duncan now,
Coach
that's
Duncan.
right. Are you excited about that?
Oh, I'm so excited.
You're
What did
so
I do?
excited.
What did I do when we found out?
I think you cried.
I cried.
You cheered.
I cheered. I yelled. I think it was an entire day that I was screaming throughout the house. My children didn't know what to think of me.
No, the dogs were scared. They were frightened and confused. Why is mom screaming?
Woo! Coach Duncan.
Coach
So excited.
Yeah, it'll be good. All right, so let's get to the end here, and this is the debate we've been having for how many years and decades to come. It will never be settled. Let's start with the easier one. Magic over Bird, right? We got the top 5 here, so 3 and 4. Magic and Bird, I mean, you could almost just like close your eyes and pick, but
I don't know. For me, being a Spurs fan, right? Boston, Lakers. You're talking about haters. Yeah, those were not my favorite teams like ever. I would never.
Okay. So you don't like either
I'm trying
one.
to be nice here.
But
ultimately,
who was
when we're
better.
talking about between I don't know. I think Magic Johnson has the best all-around game.
Because
Bird to me was just straight up like, I don't, correct me if I'm wrong, but I see him as the shooter, right?
Well, that's what he's known for, shooting.
Right?
He's an amazing shooter.
And for me, Magic created so much more on the court. I mean, we talk about like, who are you going to want on the court at the end? Someone who create, open shots for other people. Be able to shoot at the last few minutes, the clutch shots. Thank you. I don't know. To me, he has a better all-around game than Bird did.
Yeah, and I can see that argument because the thing is, again, you can't take anything away from Bird. And Bird, by the way, number 5 on this list. I don't know if I said 3 or 4. Magic is 4. Bird is 5. Kareem is 3, and we're not arguing with Kareem. He belongs there.
Oh my gosh, for sure.
So Bird, 24.3 points a game, 10 rebounds a game. I mean, amazing for a guy who wasn't even a power forward. He was a shooter, but he's grabbing 10 boards a game, 6 assists a game. So yes, he helped his team in every way tremendously. Obviously, he helped them win championships. Dominant team of his era. Magic Johnson, just under 20 points a game, 11 assists. So he's a point guard. That's to be expected.
Right.
7 rebounds a game for a point guard. So talk about the boards for Larry versus the rebounds for Magic, who was a point guard who could also play center. That's amazing. A point guard who actually has played center in the playoffs. And the thing is, I think his overall effect on his teammates, helping them, like you said, handling the ball, putting them in better position. Again, not saying Bird didn't do that. Okay,
Right.
they
No,
both
no,
did.
no. They
But
both
I
did.
just
And
think
we're talking a slight margin, right?
yeah, exactly.
We're talking just a slight difference. And that's why I would agree to put him ahead of Bird.
Right. Okay. And I was a Laker fan growing up, so first jersey I ever owned, Magic Johnson jersey.
Of course.
Yeah.
You were one of those.
One of those. Hey, look.
Bandwagon
When I first
fans.
started watching a long time ago, when I first started watching the NBA, this will tell you something. How old I am.
That's because you didn't have a team. Okay,
Miami
I give
didn't
you
have a
credit.
team.
You didn't have a team.
The Heat did not exist.
Yeah.
When I was an 8-year-old me started watching the NBA, there was no Miami team. So
That's true.
what's the next closest team to Miami? LA, of course. No. No, well, look, it was your pick. Who were the best teams to root for? You always saw on TV because by that time this was before NBA TV and TNT didn't exist either. It was the
Right.
Lakers and the Celtics. So you
That
had to
was
pick.
it. You had to pick between the two.
So
And
who
if
would
I
I
had
pick?
to pick between the two,
You would pick Lakers. Too? Yes, you would. Just say it.
I'm
say
not
it
going to
on
say it,
camera.
but
She's like your fan. No, not like. And here it is, the big debate, and I think we both are on the same side of the fence here.
Are
Number
we?
one or number two? I think so.
Okay.
I'd be surprised if we're not. Okay, so it's Jordan and LeBron. I know we could spend 5 days just debating this point, but let's just pick. Okay, so you're gonna say on the count of three, who should be the number one player of all time,
all
either Jordan or LeBron? Okay, ready?
1,
1, 2,
3.
3. Dwayne Wade. What? No, sorry. Okay,
Oh.
1, 2, 3.
Jordan.
It has to be Jordan.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
nobody is going to stump for LeBron as much as I am. Look, Heat fan here. I fully support LeBron as the second best player ever in the NBA, no matter what. Even if they win a championship this year. Let me just ask you that. If he actually somehow brings the Lakers to a championship
Even if
this
he
year,
did, it would
does that
still
change
be
your mind?
no. It does not change my mind.
Same here.
It would still be Jordan.
Jordan was the dominant player, not just of his generation, but forever, because he was the best defender at his position. He was a guy that you could not plan for, right? You just could not stop him.
You never knew. You never knew what was going to happen. He was so.
He just, it didn't matter. You couldn't stop him. And here's the thing. I know some people will kind of get favored him because he took the same team to the finals. It wasn't like with LeBron where it was Cleveland. Oh, then he jumped to Miami
with these
and now he's
players, and
jumping
then
with all it. I don't know that isn't even really the point. But the point is that Jordan did it basically by himself. You don't have a guy like Horace Grant, a guy like Paxson and Kerr and all these players mattering in any way.
No.
Right?
No.
Pippen,
yes.
But Pippen is not a guy who would have won a championship without LeBron.
That's
You
true.
agree with that?
No, I agree.
Okay. And I know you say, well, Cleveland Cavaliers wouldn't win a championship without LeBron. Well, this is true. But Jordan did it six times, and he should have had
6 times.
a seventh, and could have had a seventh, and maybe an eighth if he didn't take a year off just because he was tired of winning. Right? And then basically he's like, yeah, this is boring. This is too easy. I'm going to try baseball. Like, what the hell? So what do you think the reason is for any? I don't think there's a lot of them, but people will say, oh, LeBron better than Jordan. Why? What would possibly sway you to say LeBron
I
is better
think
than Jordan?
most people would say that the level of basketball was more competitive when LeBron played as opposed to Jordan. That's what I think most people are saying.
Yeah.
That being said, I think the rules of the game are I don't know. I think you had to play harder back in Jordan's time. Like you had people on top of you, slamming you, pushing you to the ground, and that was not a call. Now it's very different. Players very protected.
To play, definitely the rules favor offense.
Yes.
And that's the thing. And, people talk about, well, points per game and stats. Okay, so LeBron, 27 points per game. And also, by the way, we talk about per 75 possessions. Same, it's almost identical, 27.5 versus 27.2. Jordan is 30 and 30, right? 30 points. Again, this was in an era where defense was a lot more common. Right? Defense barely exists anymore. So he scored more when it was harder. And he's playing teams like the Detroit Pistons, right? The bad boys. And you were getting into fighting. So, yeah. There's no debate. I don't think there's debate, right? Jordan for the win. And you know what? You can come up with as many shoes as you want. The Air Jordan will always be the classic, right? That's the standard. If I throw out a few names of these up-and-coming young players, I'm totally putting you on the spot here.
Oh, why are you doing that?
Just for fun
Come
to see how you
on.
react.
Come on. Like out of the newer players?
Yeah, some young players who are, up and
But they're
coming.
young. They're so young. Like, how can we really say something about them?
Well, you
And
don't know.
making such a huge impact in the game.
No, you're just making it up. No,
Okay.
no. So just guess. I mean, there's no right or wrong because we don't know. Guy, do you think they will line up on this list eventually? So the Greek Freak, right? Talk about Giannis, an MVP now, and a guy who's possibly ready to take his team to the finals. I don't know about this year. Do you think Giannis will wind up being a top 50 all-time player?
I think he has the potential to do that for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I do.
Okay. That's not a yes or a no, though. What do you think?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
All right, so that's a yes.
Yes. I thought that's what I just said. Yes. I think he will make his way into the top 50. I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. What about the brow? Okay. Anthony Davis.
Everybody
Great
loves
all-around
on
game.
him.
Can pile up the stats like nobody else, but he's always hurt. And then
No.
now kind of joining with LeBron. Do you think that's going to
No.
hurt? No?
No, I don't think he makes it eventually to the top 50. I don't. I don't know. I know people love him and appreciate his game, but I don't think he's going to have as much impact as, you were asking about Giannis.
Okay. So, yeah, I don't know if it's going to help his legacy that he's doing, kind of like a Durant, joining forces. And if they win, I don't even know if they're going to win championship. I was on the Laker bandwagon, but I'm kind of jumping off now because.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Does Chris know?
Don't tell Chris. He's my buddy, Laker fan. Let's see a couple of other names. Let's see. Okay, let's really throw you off. And a guy who hasn't even played an NBA game and may not for a while. Zion Williams.
Okay. Well, it depends. I don't know. I mean, he seems pretty dominant now. But I don't know. I don't think he has a sustainability. I don't.
A lot of people comparing him to Anthony Davis because he maybe doesn't have the full inside out game yet.
Is that bad that I think he's short and stocky?
He's stocky. Well, that's a good thing, but maybe not stocky enough.
I just don't know if he can stand the test of time. I don't know.
He already has a knee injury and he hasn't even played yet. So there's that concern. He might be another Greg Oden, which is a name for you.
Oh gosh, that's awful.
Okay.
Bless his heart, Greg. So sorry.
Yeah. All right, a couple more quick ones. What about the Joker, Nikola Jokic? Only 24 years old. He's already MVP
amazing.
candidate.
No, absolutely. I don't know if he'll make the 50, but I can't wait to watch his game. Like, it's beautiful. Watching him play at that level at so young of an age, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talented player. Another international player now is a little more common. I don't think he gets any points for that, like guys like Gasol did.
No.
Great player, but you don't think maybe enough impact to be a top 50 player?
I don't know. That's something to look for. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
We'll see. Definitely an entertaining player to watch. And last but not least, one more player got to throw your way. Are you ready for this?
Oh my gosh. What is it? Who?
Okay. Ben Simmons.
Wow. Apparently he's been in the gym all summer working on every part of his shot. Bless his heart. He has gotten some flack for that cricket hand. I don't know.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
It's that. I don't know.
They traded Markelle Fultz, so I've heard the same thing. I don't know they kept Simmons, but anyways, do you think Simmons could develop his game, his shot, his percentages? Do you think he could make his way? He's top overall pick. He's on a good team.
Yeah, for me,
could be contenders.
I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see it. I know he's working hard. I know he says his confidence level is up. I know he said that
if
he's
his
done.
confidence is up, then
Well, no, but I mean, they said, and what Isaiah's like, if you can work on your foul shooting and be the guy for the end of the game, he can be that player for them, for the 76ers. Yeah, I don't know. We're talking all-time 50, top 50. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't see it.
I don't think so because, again, you're saying, well, maybe he
Allen
can help
Iverson
them.
didn't make the list. Come on. Ben Simmons?
Yeah, is he ever going to be better than Dominique, which
Dominique,
should have been on the list,
right,
Dominique.
for sure.
But, yeah, I don't see it either. I had the Philadelphia Sixers as being in the finals last year. That was my pick, and they let me down.
Well, come on. It was what? One shot?
One shot, yeah.
One shot? One lucky shot?
Yeah, you're lucky,
I know
Kawhi. They could come out of the East. Very well could come out of the East this year. I still
Some
somehow have
people
them as my
say
favorite.
they have them.
But are they going to
They're
beat
top.
any team from the West?
Can they beat any team from the
Any
West?
team from the West.
No, I think West takes the championship
LA,
for sure.
LA. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, sorry, Ben. You're out. All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching. This has been our breakdown of the top 50 NBA players of all time list. And check us out. Hit that subscribe button for more great content. We'll be here all season long breaking down what you care about in the NBA.
Peace and love. Woo!
All right. Thanks for watching.